adjusted there. Okay, episode 5. Before I get into talking about it, I just want to say sorry it took me so long to actually get around to doing it. Shit happens, life gets in the way, whatnot, but I'm here, so let's talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about the actual plot of the episode, mainly because I'm just gonna talk about what it sets up, because this episode sets up events that will help get the plot moving forward. Finally, we get introduced to our main villain, who, you know, they make sure they give her a badass entrance. I mean, seriously, they give her a great introduction. Esdeath got a great introduction. You know, there's still some mystery behind who she is, but they built her up for the short amount of time she's on screen. They built her up quite nicely. Tatsumi still kind of has some PTSD about seeing his best friends be tortured to death, which is understandable, but I kind of wish that they would kind of, you know, get over. I wish he'd just kind of get over it, but yeah. We also get introduced to a guard who too has an Imperial Arms, and by the way, we're still on Imperial Arms. Apparently, they had a book on Imperial Arms. Why they didn't introduce this earlier, like in episode 3, I will never know. But whatever, you know, better late than never, I guess. And we finally get we get Shell's backstory, which I really liked Shell's backstory. And one thing of note is Jessica Boone. Yeah, she did a great job, just fantastic, right up there with David Walland in terms of sheer greatness. Though David Walland's greatness is incredibly different because, well, he's David Walland, and his greatness cannot be measured by humanly needs. But I really liked the way she carried herself and how she portrayed the character. It felt very genuine. It didn't feel like we were getting exposition. It felt like a character. Also, one thing to note is that it's not an obligatory backstory drop, because Tatsumi asks about Shell and why she's hard on Night Raid, and the backstory itself felt very genuine. It felt personal. Jessica Boone was really into the character, and I like that. Not that the other characters aren't not that the other actors aren't into their characters, because they are, and they all do a good job. But Jessica did a better job, and even David Walland, by just a small minority, mind you, because David Walland is fantastic. Because David Walland is David Walland, and you know, he's amazing, but it felt very personal and very, I kind of believed I was there, basically. That's how good it was. You know, ironically enough, she was Nayuki from canon, and as we all know, canon is an abomination that deserves to be buried and forgotten about. So that's what, and now I will never mention it again. Well, actually I probably will mention it again, but just so I can complain about it, because I like to complain about stuff. And don't sit there and poon me for it, because you all do it too. But problems with the episode is that it did feel kind of unfocused, and Leone kind of got the shaft, which I hope that next episode or upcoming episodes we get that her backstory gets a bit more fleshed out, because she gives, from what I heard, she gives amazing back rubs. I'm also assuming she gives amazing happy endings. Shut up. No, in all seriousness, I really want to hear more of her backstory, because, again, so far a lot of these backstories are pretty interesting. They're good enough. Whatever. So the problem I have, again, is with the Emperor. I just don't like how they're making him so one-dimensionally evil. He doesn't even have like a great look. Sorry, camera's going into sleep mode, even though I'm recording. Whatever. I really felt as if that I just don't like him. I feel as if that they didn't really try all that hard. They just wanted to make him as one-dimensionally despicable as possible. And if you're gonna do that, make him look awesome. Give him like, or make him like this really charismatic. It's this David Xanatos type of character where it's like you're like God, I hate you. You're just so awesome. I can't. You know, the guy that you love to hate, but you also hate to love. You know, that kind of guy. And he's like, now he's just like one-dimensional, and he's just this fat, creepy-looking motherfucker. And they didn't even bother having him be charismatic or nice, or may having him look like a jolly Santa-looking guy. But he's like chewing on a piece of what I'm assuming is raw meat. It's like, you know, I know the Emperor's a kid, but he can't put two and two together to think this guy may be a fucking sociopath or something that's only doing this to fulfill his own desires. Whatever. Yeah. Also, regarding the girl that has a little imperial arms, a low-ranking grunt. I kind of do like. This is what I like, is that they're trying to establish that not everyone who works for the Empire is a fucking monster or is a fucking douchebag. You know, that they are indeed humans, and they are nice people and all that good stuff. But you know, and she wants to get revenge for the guy that Tatsumi killed in episode 2. I think his name was General Ogre. He was kind of a dick, and by dick I mean monster, but understandable. But she also wants to get revenge for Headhunter Zonko, the serial killer. Wasn't Headhunter Zonko like excommunicated or something? The guy was a freaking serial killer that decapitated people, including guards. You know, he wasn't part of the Empire, if I remember correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, it's like, why do you want to get revenge for him? Aren't you kind of glad he's dead so he doesn't kill any more innocent people? Yeah, that's what you're trying to do. And apparently, her imperial arms is a little not furry, but a little plushie that she drags around on a leash. I think that, if I remember correctly, in the book that Tatsumi was looking at, I believe it transforms into this giant hulking, hulking, I'm gonna rape you, bitch! That kind of epic, thing. I don't know. That kind of whatever. But yeah, all in all, the episode itself is just kind of middle of the road. Unlike the previous four episodes, which were all solid and enjoyable. Not to say this one wasn't enjoyable, but you need to view it as that episode that sets up possible storylines and character arcs for the future, which is good, which I like, and I do like how the previous episodes were relatively standalone. I wish more anime would do that, kind of take a page out of American animation, because and how they often tell their stories and structure their shows is that for the first couple episodes it's relatively standalone to introduce the characters. And then they kind of set up a few events for the main story arc. I really wish they would do that. Honestly, I really wish that anime would borrow more from American animation, but that's an entirely different subject for a different day. But yeah, I do recommend the episode. But you gotta remember, view it for what it is, and that is a setting up episode. So, also, and now it's time for a little update. The Godzilla the series review is being pushed back, I know, but in its place, which I hope to get out by the end of this week, early next week, is a response video. Yeah, I haven't done one of those in a while, and I'm going to be responding to a old acquaintance that I haven't seen for quite a while, so keep an eye out for that. So, till then,